Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And this is another Halloween update. It's not that much, but it's a little bit. Just fucking take it, Jim.
Let's get dangerous.
Just fucking take it.
Shit.
Goddamn you, Micah!
Fuck yeah.
Take it.
Fuck yeah.
Take it.
Some good news though.
Yeah.
Some excitable news.
Yes.
Some weird news, but some news. And we
Yes.
like weird, excitable news. Like our sex lives. Guess what? Guess what?
Tell him, Jay.
You sexy fuckers.
Tell him, Jay.
The guy from fucking Weird Science is gonna be Tommy Doyle. He's like, she kept me right in the family jewels, man. She kept me right in the Let's talk about the telephone, man. Yeah, call it the telephone, man.
Anthony Michael Hall has been cast to play Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills. Maybe Halloween Ends. So Anthony Michael Hall, as you remember, he was in The Breakfast Club. He was in 16 Candles.
Yes.
He was in Weird Science.
Yes.
He was in all sorts.
He was
of
in
good
Edward
shit.
Scissorhands.
Yeah, man, he was a bad guy in Edward Scissorhands.
He was in The Dead Zone on Sci-Fi.
And he looks just fucking like the grown-up Devon Sawa. Which, as soon as he was cast and I saw the picture of what Anthony Michael right here, what he looks like today, I thought, man, he looks just like Devon Sawa. That would have been really weird had they casted Devon Sawa.
I just feel like he looks like the guy that when you let him borrow your lawnmower, he's never going to give it back.
But no, Anthony Michael Hall, take a look at him right here. He actually, if you look at the original Tommy Doyle versus him, it's a great piece of casting. And Ryan Turk tweeted it on Twitter that he was going to be it, and someone was like, hey, I'm really proud of you. That's a great job. And he was like, actually, that's the great eye of David Gordon Green. He's the one that came up with the idea to cast him. And it looks perfect. If you look at Tommy Doyle versus Anthony Michael Hall today, it's a perfect job of casting. And I do see a lot of people out there being really angry right now that Brian Andrews wasn't cast into the part. Now, Brian Andrews plays Tommy as a kid. And when they looked to cast him to do Halloween 6, which was carried on by Paul Rudd himself, they looked for Brian Andrews, actually.
But couldn't find him.
He wasn't an actor anymore. He didn't have an agent. They couldn't find him. So they cast Paul Rudd in one of his first roles of all time.
They even did milk carton pictures.
Actually, it was Paul Rudd's first role. It wasn't the first movie with Paul Rudd to come out. That was Clueless, but he actually filmed Halloween 6 first. They actually looked at Paul Rudd to come back as Tommy Doyle, but he was busy with Ghostbusters, so you got to understand that. His schedule couldn't fit it in. But a lot of people are angry that Brian Andrews isn't taking over the role again. But I gotta say, like, I'm sure like some people have met him at conventions, and I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever. But the thing is I'm not sure how big this role is. We don't know how meaty this role is. It could be a quick cameo. It could be something that really matters in the franchise. And, you know, Brian Andrews, I'm sure he's a great guy, but, you know, he's not an actor. He's not a working actor. So you get somebody like Anthony Michael Hall, and I think it's great, man. I think it's awesome. It's going to be a weird face to recognize. It's going to be fun to watch him play that role, and who knows how meaty in the night it's going to fucking be.
So, how meaty we talking here? We talking about Whopper Extreme, or we talking about regular cheeseburger from DQ? We got to know that kind of facts. But no, I think that he's definitely a guy that...
Dairy Queen cheeseburgers are really good, man.
They are really amazing. Actually, they say, like, I read this article that they say that if you're going to order anything from Dairy Queen, just get the regular cheeseburger.
It's good.
Yeah, because it's the only thing they actually know how to make without fucking killing you. Because if you get the chicken, you're really just eating horse tenderloin.
Chicken's terrible. Flamethrower.
It's all right. You know what you need to do?
Shit.
You know what you're gonna do? No, you know what you need to do is you need to get the cheeseburger and then put the flamethrower sauce on the cheeseburger.
I wish I could get the flamethrower sauce. As long as you can ask them.
You can.
They won't do
I
that.
swear to God,
No.
it's a secret item.
All right, I'm gonna go to Dairy Queen tomorrow, you motherfucker.
You say,
I'm gonna go to
tell him
Dairy Queen, and I'm gonna say Jay told me. But Jay told me I could get a cheeseburger for $1.99, and you can put that flamethrower sauce, and I'll eat that shit until I die.
You know, some motherfuckers be like, this guy's talking about his weed's talking to him. He's talking about a J told him. He smoked a J and it's holding things.
I'm gonna get fucking mad at you if they don't do it.
It's true, but no. Nonetheless, I really am interested to see as far as Anthony Michael Hall. Anthony Michael Hall is a really good actor. As a matter of fact, I never got to watch all of Dead Zone. I only watched sporadically now and again when it came on. But he did fucking awesome. And even in Edward Scissorhands, he was a good bad guy. Like, he was so unrecognizable. I remember a lot of people were just shocked that was the skinny weird kid from The Breakfast Club and Weird Science and stuff when they found out that's who it was. But he was able to, as an actor, he's a good actor. And I really am wondering how they're going to take that character, if they're going to, utilize his ability to be an asshole and kind of just be angry all the time, which is more of his character in Edward Scissorhands, and use that as like, I'm just angry at everybody. Nobody understands. Michael's out there with a mask on and he wants to stab people in the face and knitting irons and in his neck.
If they brought Brian Andrews back, I would be like, okay, cool, they're bringing Tommy Doyle back. But if they bring Brian Andrews back who's not been acting for it, then I'll be like, okay, cool, it's a quick cameo. But since they got an actor to do it, since they got someone who's a recognizable face who's going to be interesting to see what he does with it, I think that he might have a more interesting role. So I'm way more interested in that than I would be with no disrespect to Brian Andrews, but I'm fucking pumped about
what
that.
I was going to say was that's exactly where I was going with the point, was because
well, go then.
I'm getting there.
Go.
I'm going.
Go then.
Actually, so Anthony Michael Hall, I'm just saying, like, he's an actual solidified actor. You know what I mean? He's an actual honest to God actor, and that's what you want to have in your film. I'm not saying that Brian Andrews couldn't do a good job, and I'm sure he could. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to make Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends a successful 2 movies after the amazingness of Halloween 2018, you want to be surrounded with, all-star players. And I think that adding someone like Anthony Michael Hall, who has a long storied history of being able to act, and he's done the TV show like Dead Zone, and he's done other things like Edward Scissorhands, and he's stretched around and he's done some other things. I feel like that's more of a stronger appeal versus someone like Andrews, who, again, it would be cool to have it full circle, and I understand why people would want him in it, but at the same time, I'm not saying anything against him, honest to God, I'm really not, but I don't want something that's substandard, you know what I mean, for that role. I mean, it may not be a meaty role, like you said, it may not be worthy of that much of a praise, but it probably will be because they're casting someone like Anthony Michael Hall, and I feel like it's going to have at least some significance, or at least the part will have some significance in Halloween Kills. What I do not believe is that Mr. Hall will return for Halloween Ends. I believe they kill Tommy Doyle off in Halloween Kills.
Possibly, maybe. Possibly.
Maybe it feels good, but I feel like they're going to do that, and I feel like that's why they were like, look, we can't find the dude, the Andrews guy, we can't do that,
or maybe they brought Andrews in and they tested it and it just couldn't pull it off. We don't know.
And I want to make sure, because I think there's a lot of fan support for that guy, and and he does seem like a very sweet guy, and he's very nice, and he seems like he's very open and responsive to fans. But dude, I mean, he did something in the late 70s one time as a kid, and I'm sure and he's doing something else now. He has a career. He does other things. He's not an actor full time.
I think probably I'm just going to be honest with you. Probably the guys. He probably runs the Halloween circuit at some of the conventions, and some people have met him, and I'm sure he's a great guy, and they're rooting for him, so they're super pissed he didn't get the role. But what's best for the movie is what's best for the movie. And if Brian Andrews showed up for the movie and it just didn't feel right, and it was a non-actor trying to act, and it looked like shit, then everybody shit on it, and it'd be a piece of shit. So I think they're doing what's best for the movie, and fuck it, I think it's great. John Carpenter was at the Keystone Comic Con, and he dropped a little tidbit of information where he said, everybody's wondering, okay, so you name the movies Halloween Kills, and then you name Halloween Ends, right?
Well, he didn't.
So there's a lot of, obviously, but a lot of people are worried, Halloween Ends, oh my God, Halloween Ends, is that going to kill it? I think most of us are in the understanding that ends this timeline.
Yeah, I never took it that literal.
Yeah, that ends David Gordon Green's timeline. Yeah. He does Halloween, the sequel to the original movie, then he does Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends is basically Halloween Ends of this timeline in the Halloween universe.
Right.
But and initially, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard Halloween Ends, I thought, I fucking hope they don't kill Michael Myers or some crazy shit like that.
We will rage.
But again, Mustafa Akkad has an unwritten rule in a fucking book. Actually, that would make it written, but it's written in a book somewhere that you cannot kill Michael Myers.
Deep down.
So we don't actually have to worry about that. But some people thought, okay, they're going to end it. They're going to want to end it for good and book it, and it's going to be over with. So a lot of people are still asking, is Halloween Ends really the end of Halloween?
No.
And this is a tiny, tiny little quote. But John Carpenter came out and he said it himself, and I think I agree with him. I think we all fucking agree with him, and I think this is the way it should be. He
Say
says,
it, John.
As long as there's money in this, I wouldn't count on an ending. And it's a short little statement, but that says a lot, and it's the fucking truth. If Halloween Kills does well, and then Halloween Ends does well, even if that's the end of this storyline, if that's the end of this director's vision, and even Gordon Green and McBride have talked about they've referenced Halloween to James Bond, whereas other people can take the reins and they can make their own vision of Michael Myers, as people do with James Bond. and they can do their own thing with it. And I totally, fully support that. In a franchise that has been going on since 1978, that has taken bad turns and great turns and is broken and confused, the producer's cut of Halloween 6, the regular cut, all this shit, Michael Myers has still managed to survive, and he's still managed to entertain people, and it's never gone direct to DVD. It's never gone to direct shit, fuck anything. It's always been interesting to people. So no matter how good or bad these films are, I think Halloween will live on, and I think that it fucking should.
Yeah, Halloween.
Otherwise, just stop after 78.
Halloween's not going to end, and I mean, I don't think, like, as far as we were concerned, and I know there were some people who probably thought that, but I never took it as the literal end to the series. Like, they would never fucking do that. The movie is a goddamn monster of money-making proportions. Like, if you're going to talk about old school Universal monsters like Wolfman, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Frankenstein, this is the current situation with Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger. Those are our Universal monsters. Like, these are classic monsters that will continue making money no matter what you throw at them. Even if you stumble over a fucking crack whore's wiener, like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which should have been VOD.
Don't remind me of last Tuesday.
That should have been VOD, but it was not DOV. But, you know, it was DOA. Anyway, I think that Halloween Ends... It's just like, nobody thought, like, even though the movie fucking blew ass and it sucked. I've never heard a girl blow ass before. The movie was terrible and it lay dormant for a while. Batman and Robin. The Batman franchise was never going anywhere. Like, they knew the Batman franchise would have a shithole fucking movie, which was Batman and Robin at some point, and it did. It lay dormant, and then, you know, the greatness that was Batman Begins, you know, kickstarts the trilogy. The Nolan trilogy, which is fucking amazing, which rebirthed it. Now, Halloween Ends, like, again, like Mike said, it's just this particular director's vision coming to an end, and from there, whatever they do, if they decide to close off that portal as far as like how you know, they tell their story, and then some other director can come in and play around with how they want to retell Michael, or if they leave in linchpins to where like any director could come in and be like, well, we can make kind of a sequel to it. Halloween's not just ending.
Off the top of my head, I could say you could do Halloween 9. You could follow up Resurrection when his eyes open at the end of the movie. You could follow up that movie. I would love to see a remake to Halloween 4 done appropriately, because the atmosphere, so many things they got right in Halloween 4. It's one of the best Halloweens of all time. Yeah. It would be so fun to see someone remake that movie. I don't think that'll ever happen. That's kind of a wishy-washy thing or whatever, but there's you could reboot the franchise again. I say, hey, I wouldn't, and a lot of people will shit on a Halloween reboot following Halloween Ends, but the thing is if you reboot Halloween Ends, or if you reboot Halloween following Halloween Ends, and you just go, look, there's no Jamie Lee Curtis in the storyline. There's no any of this shit. We're going to tell a brand new story. You don't know who the characters are. The only thing that exists in this timeline, brand new. We're not remaking the first movie. The only thing that exists in this reimagining of Halloween is Michael fucking Myers. You got, maybe it's not even a babysitter. Maybe it's a fucking whatever the fuck. It's a Tractor Supply employee. I don't give a fuck.
What?
But you bring the only thing that exists is Haddonfield and Michael Myers, and you tell the story anew. And I think actually at the end of the day, that might be the one thing that could actually bring fear back into Michael Myers. You don't have Jamie Lee Curtis. You don't have any of those things you have to tread through. You don't have any tie-ins. You don't know who Michael Myers is. You don't know what his plan is. He's not after any specific person. He's in Haddonfield and he shows up to kill a family, and it's brand new once again. I would love to see them follow up Halloween Ends with that storyline, but at the end of the day, all we're saying is there's a bunch of trapdoors in the franchise that you can go through. It won't ever end, and it should not ever end. If you want to say, oh fuck, if you make a good movie, stop. You should stop right there.
That's stupid.
Look, fucking dude, we live in a world where fucking Rob Zombie made him a motherfucking hobo, eating fucking dogs in the woods and getting his ass kicked by fucking hobos. Like, we live in a world where his fucking mask wasn't tucked in Halloween 5. Michael Myers can survive anything, and he always fucking should. And fuck that shit. If we had to watch Rob Zombie make H2. All right, if we had to watch that shit and that didn't kill the franchise, why ever stop making Halloween movies?
We live in a world where a movie, which I kind of liked it, Milo, a butt demon, exists in a horror movie. Do you remember that shit? I like that movie. That movie
demon came out of his butt.
It was in his butt.
That's this week's Halloween news. We hope you guys are fucking excited. We're fucking excited. And make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell for all that shit, because we're going to keep you updated on all the Halloween shit. It's going to be a fucking blasty blast through both fucking movies. And we're going to be here for all of it. We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn whammy.
Goddamn, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You got like cinder blocks in your brain.
Jay, I fucking said goddamn.
It's alright.
That's what I said.
It didn't scare me anymore. Fuck that.
Yeah.
It didn't do shit.
I am made of steel.
Why does your breath stink right now?
Because I ate steel.
It smells like iron.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.